Around this time last year, I had a pretty big decision to make. Was I going to carry on with the hairdressing career that I'd been working on for the past 2 years, or was I going to give it all up? I was really confused, and honestly I didn't know what I wanted. But the thing is, looking back on it, there were some really clear signs that I was not in the right career and it wasn't going to last very long. So this is how I knew I had to give up on my career. Number 1, I was more interested in marketing myself than I ever was about actually doing my job. I used to think about how I could use YouTube and Instagram to build an audience, to build a brand, to attract more clients and ultimately make more money as a self-employed hairdresser. I spent a lot more time on that than I did doing any kind of hairdressing. Now obviously, us looking back on that, it's fairly obvious what was happening there, because obviously now I have this YouTube channel, I have my Instagram, and that's the kind of thing I'm doing. Nothing to do with hairdressing, but that's the kind of thing that I'm now doing. Obviously it was something I really wanted to do, but at the time I thought I was being smart. I thought I was spending time doing something that was going to benefit me, because it doesn't matter how good a hairdresser you are if no one knows that you are a hairdresser and you're good at what you do, then you're not going to have any clients. And I think this was the kind of mindset I was looking at it with, which is fair enough if you want to be a hairdresser and you want to market yourself as a hairdresser. But I didn't care about being a hairdresser, I just liked the marketing side of it. Obviously there's always parts of a job that you maybe prefer over other parts. That's just natural with any kind of career. But I didn't even have a favourite part of hairdressing. It was the business side of it that I enjoyed. It wasn't even being a hairdresser and actually doing someone's hair. So that was a pretty clear sign that I wasn't in the right career at all. Number 2, I was getting so many opportunities and I honestly didn't really want them. I was pretty much handed a job in a salon. I had a list of people who wanted me to do their hair and who would have been regular clients, and I had all this free training and content that I'd found online, and even the things I had done in real life at college. I had all of this going for me. I even had a full room in my house dedicated to keeping all my hairdressing equipment and tools and for me to practice in and just do anything to do with hairdressing. But I didn't want any of that. I barely spent any time in that room that was designed especially for me to do that, because being in that room just reminded me of where I was stuck, and it made me feel like I had got myself in a situation that I didn't want to be in, but at the time I didn't realise that was why I felt so stuck. I would get anxious when people messaged me to ask if I would do their hair, and I wouldn't want to reply to them because I knew that I didn't want to do their hair. I don't think I knew consciously that I didn't want to do their hair. I think I just knew somewhere in my mind that I didn't want to do it. So I would get really anxious about replying to them and booking a time for me to do it. Whenever I was doing someone's hair, I couldn't really wait for it to be over. But I had pretty much everything that a new qualified hairdresser could want, but all I felt was like I was being pushed further and further into this thing that I just didn't want to be in, and I was just trying to get out, but at the same time I wasn't really trying to get out. I was just staying there, hoping that that feeling that I want out would disappear over time. Looking back on it, I can see very clearly how unhappy I was and how it just wasn't for me, and the best thing I could have done was just get out of it. But at the time I thought that it was just because I was newly qualified, I was just starting my career, and of course I was going to be nervous because I was at the very beginning of my career. I had a lot to learn, I had a lot to do to make any kind of money in it. But there's a difference between being a bit nervous but excited about a new career and just being anxious about it and just not wanting to do any work to build it because you know that you don't want it. And that kind of leads me on to number 3. The idea of being a successful hairdresser didn't excite me at all. It kind of did in the beginning. The idea of it was a bit exciting, but the more I learned about hairdressing, the more I went through my course and worked in that industry, eventually I realised that even if I was the most successful hairdresser there was, even in the world, if I was the most successful hairdresser, I don't think I would be satisfied. I don't think I'd be happy. I don't think I'd be really that proud of myself, because I would know that it's just not me. It's not what I really want. And it's not something that I want to spend a lot of my time doing. Obviously, I have like a little bit of pride around the fact that other people thought I was successful and that it looked good to other people. But that would kind of be it. Like, I wouldn't be honestly proud of what I'd achieved. I would always have that part of me saying that this just isn't for me, this isn't what I want to be doing. And the fact that I could imagine myself being really, really successful, making a lot of money, and even that image, I still felt like I wouldn't be happy. That wouldn't be enough for me. I would always need to have something else that brought me that happiness because my career wouldn't. I definitely wouldn't want to struggle to be successful in it, but even if the success was handed to me, even if it was really easy to be successful in that industry, in that career, I still don't think I'd want it. Even if I was just handed the success, I honestly don't think I would want it. The fact that I was newly qualified, I was just starting my career, and I was already thinking, even if I was really, really successful in this, I don't think it would make me happy. That's a very clear, like, this is not for you. Even if it was handed to me, whether it was handed to me or I had to struggle for it, either way, I really didn't think that it was gonna do anything for me. It wasn't gonna make me happy, it wasn't gonna make me proud, it wasn't gonna make me feel like I was successful. The idea of doing it for the rest of my life just wasn't a thought I even wanted to entertain. But I thought, oh well, I could just do it for a few years. But even at that, even when I started working and I still didn't want to do it for even a few months. And that was when I really just had to decide, am I gonna keep chasing this thing that I don't want, or am I just gonna let it go? And obviously the fact that I am not a hairdresser shows you that I decided to just let it go. It wasn't for me, and at least I tried. Now I know that I do not want to be a hairdresser. So those are a few of the signs that really showed me that I was not in the right career. But honestly, for a lot of the time, I had this gut instinct that this was not where I wanted to be. This was not what I wanted to do. And I kept telling myself I would get over it, but I just knew. And like, you'll know what I mean. There's some things that you just know. And that was the case for me. I did just know that it wasn't for me. So if you're in a career that you feel the same way, you know it's not for you, just know that you don't have to stay there. Listen to your intuition, but also read the clear signs. You really don't have to stay stuck. If you enjoyed this video and you want to keep watching, there will be a couple of videos linked on the screen for you to watch next. And of course, make sure you're subscribed, make sure you leave a comment down below, especially if you have been or are in a career that just isn't for you. Let me know what that is down below and what you would rather be doing. As always, thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one.